Hello and welcome to today's lesson. I am Yana and I'm glad you're here to learn something new. Remember, learning is empowering. Yes, it makes us stronger. And for today's lesson, I selected two English verbs, lie and lay, which are very confusing. And not only to the students of English. Even the native speaking people make mistakes using these verbs. And they probably cannot or won't be able to explain to you the difference between these two verbs. So the goal of today's lesson is to help you to know in which circumstances to use which verb and to feel confidently, to use them with joy. So off we go. We are going to begin with the verb lay, and you can see the past forms of this verb: past simple laid and past participle laid. Pay attention to the spelling. Y changes to I in both forms. The meaning of this verb is to put something down. So if you imagine I have a pen, you put it down horizontally or usually flat, carefully. So you do it carefully, not dropping it and not throwing it. That's the meaning of this verb. So chickens lay eggs, a universal fact, right? Chickens is the subject in this sentence. Lay is the verb and eggs is the object. The letter T in the brackets above stands for transitive. That means that the verb takes an object. And it's very important. Can you imagine a sentence that begins with chicken lay and has no ending? Chicken lay what? Chicken lay eggs. Exactly. So the object usually answers question what or who if it is a person. She laid the baby on the bed. So she, you can imagine maybe a mother, putting or placing the baby gently, carefully on the bed. You don't want to wake up the baby. She is the subject, laid is the verb in the past form, and the baby is the object. The object is the must. I laid aside my book and went outside. So I was reading, then I closed my book, I laid it aside, again the verb lay in the past form, and my book is the object. I laid what? My book. So far, I hope you follow me, and I hope it's not too complicated. All we have to remember is that the verb lay is transitive. It always takes an object, and without an object, it is completely lost. And we don't want any verbs to be lost, do we? Let's have a look at the second verb, lie. Lie is irregular verb. Lay, lain is the past simple and past participle forms. Now, this is where confusion happens. Lay, the simple past form, is just, it looks the same as the base or present form of the verb we just looked at a minute ago. So that was the present form. If you just look again, can you see that? Lay, laid, laid. But with the verb lie, lay, it just happens that it has absolutely the same form as the other one. That's where people confuse it. Okay? And how do you know which one you're using? You will have to pay attention to the context, to the meaning of this verb in the sentence. The form lain, past participle, is used for the perfect tenses. It's not that common, but maybe once in a while when you read a book you can see that form too. Let's look at the meaning of the sentence. So to lie means to be or to put yourself into horizontal position. Go and lie on the bed until you feel better. Okay, so lie on the bed. In this sentence there is no subject because it's a command or it's a request or maybe a piece of advice. No subject, but we have the verb lie, and on the bed is the phrase of place. It's not an object. So intransitive in the bracket means there is no object. The verb is completely independent and it does very well on its own. Another example, Emma was lying on her back in the sunshine. Emma is the subject, was lying is the verb in past continuous or progressive form. Pay attention to the spelling. L-Y-I-N-G. And on her back, in the sunshine, these phrases describe how and where she was doing this action. They are not the object of the sentence. Do not confuse them. I lay awake worrying about my work. Well, if you see, we have a verb lie in the past form lay because we speak about this action in the past. I lay awake worrying about my work last night. So again, we have the verb lie in the simple past form and there is no object. Okay, worrying about my work is something different. It's not the object. So the biggest concern, the biggest problem that happens so far with the use of these two verbs, lay and lie, is that in this case, I heard people saying, oh, if you're not feeling well, go and lay down. And it's not correct. The correct sentence should be go and lie down or go and lie on the bed. Even my sports instruction teacher, who was English speaking, said, okay, for next exercise we've got to lay down on the floor. And that was not correct. The correct should be go and lie down on the mat on the floor. I hope you are following me and I hope it makes sense to you. There is one more thing that we have to pay attention to. This verb lie is a little tricky verb, indeed, because it has another meaning. So it can be used in the sense of not telling the truth. And then if we use it with this meaning, then it's a regular verb. That means it follows the rule in the past forms, and the past form is formed by adding D to the verb. Lie, lied, lied. Not to tell the truth and tell some false stories. So I think he lies about his age. I don't think he tells the truth, is an example. And by the way, this verb with this meaning is also intransitive. That means it doesn't take any object. Okay, let's have a look how well you have mastered this information. We are going to practice. In the following sentences, is it lie or lay and in which form? Number one, you can my pen on the table. Lie or lay? The correct solution is you can lay my pen. we need a transitive verb because of my pen, which is the object in this sentence. I hope you had it right. Number 2, don't worry if you don't. We are practicing and it's okay to make mistakes. Number 2, he, awake at night worrying. The correct solution for this one is lies. If you think of him doing this regularly or constantly, he always lies awake at night worrying. But if you wanted to talk about last night, it just happened last night, then we would have to put this verb lies, in the past form, which is lay. Exactly. It would be he lay awake last night worrying. Number 3, a mini dialogue. What are you doing? I, on a beach and relaxing. The right answer or the right solution for this gap is I'm lying on a beach and relaxing. Ah, what a dream. Number 4 and the last one. He carefully, a blanket over the baby. Lie or lay? Well, you see that the blanket is the object and therefore we have to use the verb laid. If it's in the past, if it's something he did just maybe a few minutes ago or last night, he carefully laid, placed a blanket over the baby. So my friends, how are you doing? I hope what I've just shared with you makes sense, and I do hope that you will use these verbs lie and lay correctly. By the way, I made a video about rise and raise, another set of confusing words, and interestingly, they mean just the opposite. Rise and raise, it's going upward, whereas lie and lay, going downwards. But they are very similar in their grammar. So if you haven't seen that video yet, if you haven't done that lesson, go and do it. I'm sure you'll profit from it. I hope you'll be using these verbs correctly. If this video is useful, let me know. And if you practice and write your sentences below, I'm going to check them for you. I promise. And see you in the next video. Bye for now.